Welcome back to English Podcast for You, your cozy little space on YouTube to learn real, natural English through authentic conversations. I'm Leo.
And I'm Lily. Before we get into today's topic, we just want to send a huge thank you to everyone joining us today. Whether you're listening while washing the dishes, going for a walk, or sitting with a cup of tea, thank you for making us a part of your day.
Truly, it means the world to us. And remember, every single minute you spend listening to English, even on days when you feel like you're not making progress, your brain is absorbing the rhythm, the pronunciation, and the natural flow of the language. You're doing great.
Exactly. So leave a comment below and let us know where in the world you're tuning in from today. We love reading your comments.
Now, speaking of real life, Lily, can I ask you a question before we start?
Uh-oh, that tone of voice makes me nervous. Go on.
What time did you go to bed last night?
Why are you attacking me so early in the episode, Leo?
Because you're holding a coffee cup that is almost as big as your head, and you've yawned 3 times since we turned the cameras on.
Okay, fine, you caught me. I looked at the clock at 10 p.m. and told myself, tonight I will be a responsible adult. I will sleep early.
And what actually happened?
At 1:30 a.m., I was still awake watching a documentary about deep-sea jellyfish.
Jellyfish?
Yes. Do I plan on becoming a marine biologist? No. Do I care about jellyfish? Not really, but there I was, wide awake.
That is so relatable, but honestly, it leads us right into what we're exploring today.
Yes, today we are talking about fatigue, burnout, and how we talk about feeling extremely tired in English.
Because let's be honest, when English learners feel exhausted, they almost always say the same simple sentence, I am tired.
Right. And while I am tired is totally correct, native speakers have so many richer, more descriptive ways to express different levels of exhaustion.
Exactly. Saying, I am tired when you spent 12 hours working and then watched jellyfish videos until 2 a.m. just doesn't capture how heavy your body actually feels.
So true. So today, we're sharing realistic phrases, idioms, and vocabulary to describe extreme tiredness without just repeating, I am tired.
And later in the episode, as always, we'll have our word tour, where we break down our target vocabulary from today's conversation. Words like drained, worn out, wiped out, running on empty, and crash.
So, Leo, when you woke up this morning, how did your body actually feel?
It wasn't just physical fatigue. It was that feeling after a long week where your brain feels empty, like you've used up all your mental battery.
Ah, that brings us to our very first key word, drained.
Yes, when you say, I feel drained, it means your energy, especially your mental or emotional energy, has been completely poured out, like water going down a drain.
Ooh, I love that visual image, like a sink emptying out.
Exactly. You could say, after talking to customers for 8 hours today, I feel completely drained.
That's such an important distinction. Physical tiredness comes from exercise or manual work, but being drained usually comes from stress, heavy thinking, or social interaction.
Have you ever had a week where you didn't do any heavy physical work, but by Friday you felt like you couldn't make a simple decision?
Oh, absolutely. Last month, when I was organizing my move to a new apartment, all the paperwork, the calls, the planning, I wasn't running marathons, but mentally, I was completely drained. I remember sitting on my living room floor looking at a cereal box for 10 minutes because choosing what to eat felt too hard.
Decisional fatigue. That is real. When your battery is at 1%, even choosing between cornflakes and toast feels like solving a math equation.
But you know what's interesting? There's another expression that sounds similar but feels a little different. Worn out.
Ah, worn out. Think about an old pair of shoes or your favorite denim jacket that you've used for 5 years.
Right, the material gets thin, weak, and damaged from constant use.
Exactly. So when a person says, "I feel worn out," it implies that long-term effort or continuous stress has slowly broken down their energy over time.
So drained can happen fast, like after one difficult meeting, but worn out happens slowly over weeks or months of continuous hard work.
Precisely. For example, he's been working 2 jobs for 6 months without a break. He looks completely worn out.
That sounds so heavy, and you can actually see it on someone's face when they're worn out, can't you? The dark circles under their eyes, the slumped shoulders.
Yeah, it's not just a momentary feeling, it's a state of being. And in modern life, so many of us are walking around feeling worn out because we forget to stop and reset. We treat ourselves like machines instead of human beings.
Wow, Leo, that was deep for a Monday morning.
Well, I had 2 cups of coffee before recording, so my brain is temporarily working.
Okay, so we've covered drained for mental energy and worn out for long-term fatigue. But what about when you do intense physical work and your body just gives up?
Ah, that's when you say you are wiped out.
Wiped out. Imagine a huge wave coming in at the beach and completely erasing a footprint in the sand. Swoosh, gone.
Great imagery. That's exactly what it feels like. When you are wiped out, 100% of your physical strength is erased in an instant.
Give us an example sentence, Leo.
Sure, after moving heavy furniture all afternoon and walking up 4 flights of stairs, I was totally wiped out.
Oh, I felt that last Saturday. I decided to clean my entire house, deep cleaning the kitchen, scrubbing the floors, moving the couch.
The spring cleaning energy.
Exactly. At 10 a.m., I was super motivated, listening to music and dancing with a broom. But by 4 p.m., I collapsed onto my rug. I couldn't even lift my arm to reach my phone. I was completely wiped out.
Isn't it crazy how quickly our confidence leaves us when physical exhaustion hits? In the morning, you feel like a superhero. By late afternoon, you're lying on the carpet wondering why floors are so hard.
Truly.
Now, there's one state of tiredness that I think almost every English learner listening right now has experienced at least once.
Which one is that?
Running on empty.
Ooh, that is such a powerful idiom. Running on empty.
Think about a car. The red fuel light is flashing on your dashboard. The tank says 0 miles remaining, but the car is somehow still moving down the highway.
Right, you have no actual fuel left, but you are forcing yourself to keep going because of willpower, coffee, or deadlines.
Exactly. When you say, "I've been running on empty all week," it means you have 0 energy reserve left, but life won't allow you to stop yet.
That feels so real, like when students are preparing for final exams, or when parents are taking care of a sick toddler while working full-time.
Yes, you're not sleeping enough, you're eating quick meals, and every muscle hurts, but you keep pushing forward.
Have you ever had a time in your life when you were running on empty, Leo?
Oh, definitely. A couple of years ago, I was balancing a full-time job while trying to launch this podcast and taking night classes. I was sleeping maybe 4 hours a night for 3 weeks straight.
4 hours? How did you survive?
Caffeine and sheer panic. But honestly, by the 3rd week, I was so running on empty that I put my car keys in the refrigerator and tried to unlock my front door with my supermarket loyalty card.
No way! Your loyalty card?
I stood outside my door, tapping the plastic card against the lock for a full minute, wondering why it wasn't clicking. That is what happens when your brain is running on empty.
Oh dear. Okay, so what happens when you keep running on empty for too long? What is the final destination?
You crash.
Crash.
Exactly. To crash means to suddenly and uncontrollably fall into a deep sleep or total exhaustion because your body simply shuts down.
Yes, it's not a graceful bedtime where you put on pajamas, brush your teeth, and read a book.
No, no, no. To crash means you lie down on the sofa with your shoes still on at 7 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. the next day confused about what year it is.
Yes. As soon as I got home from the airport, I crashed on the bed.
Or, after my final exam, I went straight home and crashed for 10 hours.
It's almost like your body hits an emergency shutoff switch. It says, "That's it, no more coffee, no more work, we are turning off the system right now."
Exactly. And it's so important to recognize when your body needs to crash before it forces you to do it at an inconvenient time.
You know, Leo, talking about all these words, drained, worn out, wiped out, running on empty, and crash, makes me think about how heavy our modern schedules are.
It really does. Why do you think so many of us struggle to admit when we are exhausted?
I think there's a lot of pressure today to always look busy, productive, and successful. If someone asks, "How are you?" the standard answer is often, "Oh, super busy," like it's a badge of honor.
Right. We pretend that feeling drained or worn out is a sign of weakness, when really it's just a sign that we're human.
Exactly. And for our listeners who are learning English while working, studying, raising families, or moving to new countries, learning a new language itself takes an immense amount of mental energy.
That's such a great point. Studying a foreign language actually leaves your brain feeling drained because your mind is constantly translating, listening for patterns, and trying to remember vocabulary.
So if you're listening to this right now and you feel tired after 15 minutes of English practice, don't feel bad. Your brain is doing heavy lifting. It's completely normal to feel a bit wiped out.
Well said, Lily. And now, to make sure these 5 powerful expressions stay in your memory naturally, let's step into our calm word tour.
Yes, let's slow down the pace a bit. Look at each word closely, practice the pronunciation together, and see how they work in real, everyday sentences.
Welcome to today's word tour. Take a deep breath, relax, and let these natural English phrases sink into your mind.
Our first target word is drained, feeling completely empty of mental or emotional energy after heavy stress or social interaction. For example, after answering difficult emails all morning, I feel completely drained. Or socializing in large groups always leaves her feeling emotionally drained. Say it out loud after me, drained.
Next up is worn out, exhausted from continuous long-term hard work, stress, or wear and tear over time. For example, she's been working overtime for 3 weeks and looks completely worn out. Or, these old running shoes are totally worn out. I need a new pair. Say it out loud with me. Worn out.
Our third phrase is wiped out, completely stripped of physical energy, usually after intense exercise or hard physical labor. For example, a 2-hour gym session left him totally wiped out. Or, we walked 15 kilometers around the city today and we're wiped out. Repeat after me. Wiped out.
Our fourth expression is the idiom running on empty, continuing to work or function even though you have no physical or mental energy remaining. For example, I haven't slept properly in days. I'm completely running on empty. Or, the team has been running on empty to meet this tight deadline. Say it with me. Running on empty.
And our fifth target word is crash, to suddenly fall into a deep sleep or total physical rest out of extreme fatigue. For example, I was so exhausted after my flight that I crashed immediately. Or, he usually crashes on the couch right after dinner on Fridays. Repeat after me. Crash.
Look at those 5 fantastic expressions. Notice how each one paints a specific, vivid picture of how you were tired, rather than just saying, "I'm tired."
Exactly. Using words like drained, worn out, wiped out, running on empty, and crash will instantly make your English sound more expressive, natural, and fluent.
So take a moment right now in the comments section below and write one sentence using your favorite expression from today's episode. We check every comment and love seeing your practice sentences.
And if you're feeling a bit drained today, remember to take care of yourself. Get some rest and give your mind the pause it deserves.
That is so important. When you push through that mental fog without giving yourself a rest, you end up making simple mistakes that you wouldn't normally make, like putting my keys in the fridge.
Exactly. But beyond just the physical feeling, what do you think is the hardest part about recovering when you've reached that point of total exhaustion?
Honestly, it's learning how to say no to things without feeling guilty about it. When you're used to saying yes to every project, every social event, and every request, stepping back feels almost impossible.
That hits so close to home. We feel like if we take a break, we're letting people down. But if you keep pouring from an empty cup, eventually there's nothing left for anyone, least of all yourself.
Right on the head. True discipline is actually knowing when to rest so you can keep going for the long haul. Consistency over intensity every single time.
Exactly. A 20-minute daily habit that you can sustain for a year is infinitely better than studying 5 hours a day for a week and then getting so wiped out that you don't open a book for 3 months.
That is such wisdom right there. So if anyone watching this right now is feeling overwhelmed, just take a deep breath. You don't have to master everything today. Just showing up and listening is a win.
Absolutely. Every small step counts. And remember, matching your tone of voice to words like drained, worn out, and crashed makes your English sound so much more expressive and genuine.
It really does. It bridges the gap between just reciting vocabulary words and actually connecting with the person you're speaking to.
Which is the whole point of learning a language in the first place, to connect, share experiences, and feel understood.
Well said, Lily. So if you haven't joined the conversation in the comments section yet, don't be shy. Share your thoughts, practice using today's vocabulary, or just say hi to your fellow learners from around the world.
We read through all of them and love seeing your sentences. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today.
Take care of yourselves, get some good rest, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone. Happy learning.